Hey there, thanks for tuning in. This is the Tammy Tine Design YouTube channel. I'm Tammy, and today I'm creating a two-page Christmas themed layout with 5 photos. This is a versatile design that can showcase any season. Just change out the tree for a big shamrock for St. Patrick's Day or a big colored egg for Easter. There's still plenty of room for photos and putting a pretty pattern paper on display. The floral is Simple Stories Holly Jolly, and the paper is Home for the Holidays. On the B side is a dainty floral on a craft background. I really like this print too, but I'll have enough going on with this layout that I won't be able to add in another pattern and use this side too. I also have a scrap of this fun basic gray print. This isn't a full 12 by 12. I did use some of this on a previous project. The branding strip is long gone. I have no idea what collection this came from. I've had it in my stash for way too long, but I've always loved this print and I knew I'd eventually use it. I thought the colors complemented the floral paper with the right red and green tones, so I'm super excited to finally get this on a layout. And I have a green tone on tone print from the Hello Adventure Flip Sides pack from Keep It Simple that I picked up at the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo. As usual, I've already pulled a big variety of embellishments. My plan is to cut a large triangle from the basic gray paper to create a Christmas tree. And I thought it would be fun to use this American Crafts ribbon for the tree trunk. I have a bag of poinsettia felt flowers. I want to say these are from Making Memories. I have had them forever, of course. I thought these were a good match to the papers. The colors are cream and kind of a cranberry, so not the usual red and white. This Home for the Holidays paper is perfect and has just the right color tones. I think the green is a good match too, so my plan is to use 3 of these in my embellishment clusters. I also pulled some film strips from 49 and Market. These are art options from the Spice collection. I think I have the package right here under my desk so I can show you. It is an autumn collection called Spice, but the green is a good match to the greens going on here in my Christmas layout. I will probably cut these into strips and layer with them, or I may create a visual triangle with them. We'll kind of see how it goes. I have several packages of these in all different colors, and I think I've only used them once. So it's probably time to start using these film strips on my layouts. I pulled a variety of gems and enamel dots. The pearly ones are Paper Studio from Hobby Lobby. These matte gold ones are from Pink Fresh. These red ones are from Queen and Company. There's some glitter dots there from Doodlebug. I also have a variety of brads from Echo Park. I, of course, won't be using all of these, but like to have a variety to choose from. I pre-cut 2 tags with a thin metal die from scrapbook.com. I just found a pearly cardstock scrap in my scrap drawer and cut these out. This size is perfect for journaling. It's not too big, but there's still plenty of room, especially if you print the journaling. These tags will go in a pocket behind my main photo, and I will print my journaling on vellum labels. I think I also saved some memorabilia that should go with this layout, but when I went looking for it, I didn't find it, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to share that in the photos at the end or not. If I can find it, the memorabilia will also go in the pocket behind the photo. I also pulled a variety of Christmas die cuts and ephemera packs. I don't always keep ephemera packs together once I've used them. I find for me, if I set something aside to only use with certain papers, I may never use that thing. I'll forget about it, or the papers just never work for my project. But when I mix it up and pull it out like this, I will add this ephemera no matter what paper collection they came from and try to use it up. It is my goal to use these light wood veneer pieces on today's page. I think these came, wow, in a Scraptastic kit way back when. They are super cute, so I've kept them. I kind of hate to just toss stuff because I haven't used it, but man, it really is time to use it or lose it. So I am putting these on this page. I thought they would be a good match because of the craft going on. What other tools? Let's see. I showed this tag thin metal die already. I'm also going to have some scallop borders. So I have this Fisker's Edge Punch. This is probably one of the first edge punches I ever bought. It still works like a champ. I will cut the scallop borders from this 2 Swiss dot papers. I also have the edge distressor from Tim Holtz. I'm going to distress the edges on the basic gray paper for the Christmas tree I'm going to make. I also have gathered twigs distress ink to ink the edges of my papers. I mentioned earlier that I'm using 5 photos for this 2 page layout. Here are the photos. This is my husband and I on the ferry boat going out to the Magic Kingdom. And the rest of the photos are from how the day unfolded at Epcot. So that's what I'm using today. Let me go ahead and cut my papers. Everything is cut, and I thought I would show you where this layout's going before I glue everything down. I'm using Craft in the background, and I've inked the edges with Gathered Twig Distress ink. My little Christmas tree here will go on the left side. I did hand cut this and I didn't do the best job. It's certainly not symmetrical by any stretch. If measuring and being precise is important to you, then always get out your tools. The wonkiness doesn't bother me. It doesn't need to be perfect. I could have taken the time to create a shape in my Silhouette software and cut this out that way, but I used scissors instead. So it's definitely not perfect. I'm still planning to use the ribbon for the trunk of the tree. My main photo will go with the tree on the left. Everything else will go on the right. And as always, I do offer a free sketch of every layout I create here on YouTube. Check the description box below for a link. I cut the Simple Stories floral paper to a 10 by 12-inch block. I'm using the Basil Swiss Dot White as a mat for the photos, so it measures 6.5 by 12 inches. I will border both sides of the photo mat with these scallops, and then I'll layer the green with the red. I'm using the red Swiss dot cardstock as a mat for the photo going on the left side of the page. I added some foam tape, so that will give me the pocket that I need, and my tags with the journaling will go behind the photo. Originally, I thought I would try to layer the die cuts and embellishments within the scallop borders, but that's not going to happen. I sometimes forget all of the ideas once I start creating, but I love the look of layering within layers, so I'll save that for another layout. I'll use the space under the photo to add my title. It's kind of a long title, so it's going to fill in some of that space between the trunk of the tree over to the edge of the page. I don't think I've pulled alphabets yet, so let me go and do that, and I'll come back with everything glued down. So now my papers, my title, and my photos are down, so we can move on to the fun part, the embellishing. The alphabets I ended up using are the Pine and Cream Mini Market set from October Afternoon. You can see this set is well used and loved. I also used a wood grain alphabet. This one probably came from an Echo Park sticker sheet. We used to get alphabets back in the day. I don't keep my stickers and alphabets in the same place, so I always cut these apart and put the alphas with my alphas. I don't know which collection this came from, but I'm pretty sure this was Echo Park. I wanted to bring in that same red color from the papers, and I didn't have any alphas or thickers that worked. So I pulled out an Echo Park thin metal alphabet die cut set. I believe this is Alicia. I cut out the Magic Kingdom letters from the Phoenix Swiss dot cardstock. I've already put down the felt poinsettias where I wanted to build each of my cluster embellishments. My kitty, Harley, jumped up on the desk while I was arranging them and wanted some attention. So I edited that out, but you'll still get to see her somewhere later in this video. Before I get too far, I need to figure out what to do with the 49 and Market film strips. I will end up cutting them and adding a strip under the main photo on the left, one under the photo of me and my husband at Epcot, and a third strip above the photo with the tree. I'm just trimming each one down to make sure I like the placement. I'm also going to rough them up a bit by cutting a few of the squares and bending back some pieces to add some character and dimension and make them feel a little bit more worn. To glue these down, I'll add some double-sided sticky tape. I thought about layering them with the embellishment clusters. These film strips work great as cluster bases to anchor embellishments to the page. But I ended up adding them just to the photos instead to help draw attention to the most important photos. There won't be a ton of embellishment on this page, so I'm just going to use these on their own. Bringing over my bowl of die cuts to go through here and see what would look good on this page. I mentioned before I don't keep ephemera packs together once I've used them, so I've got a variety here of leftovers from several ephemera packs. For my own personal scrapbooking, there's no reason to keep packages of ephemera intact. I'm not paying attention to what collection these belong to. I just want to cluster up some different things to complement the papers and my photos. I will use the wood veneer laser cut light garlands, one on each side. Makes me really happy when I finally use something like that I've had in my stash forever. I'm just looking through the options and starting to pull a few things out. I do want to get at least one word or phrase tag in each cluster. Happy Holidays will go on the left. The Merry Christmas will go on the bottom right. And the brown holiday cheer tag will go above the photos. And I'll build the cluster behind that. I tried to add in another Christmas tree. Since I have a tree anchoring both sides of my layouts, it would have been nice to add one in a third place, but the green colors just weren't working with the papers. That happens sometimes when I have a variety like this. Some of the embellishments just don't work. Does that bother me? Not really. Once upon a time, I tried to keep the ephemera packs together with the collections and the papers in iris bins so that when I created a layout with one of the papers, I'd have the matching embellishments to use. But I always forgot to use them. I had these cool papers and embellishments that weren't being used. Keeping things together in collections has just never worked for me. Now I store all of my ephemera packs in Ziploc bags and eventually they start to get mixed together. I pull ephemera like this when I create, and whatever I don't use just goes in a Ziploc bag. I no longer pay attention to what collection anything came from. And by doing it this way, I'm actually using my stuff. The thing about organization systems is there's no one size fits all. The best systems align with how you create. And over time, I've gotten much better at storing things in a way that supports how I create and pull supplies. In my bowl, I did have a variety of greenery leaves, and I really like how that looks. Luckily, I have three pieces, so I'll be able to add the same bit of greenery to each cluster. So, as is my usual habit, I'm fussing with everything I put on the page to see if I can make it work. I do end up including the bingo card I showed at the beginning that says Mary. At first, I didn't think I wanted to bring in a blue color, and then I realized that the basic gray paper has blue, and it could also play off the Epcot photo, which has a grayish blue. Having another pop of blue helps create a visual triangle over to the left side of the page. I ended up digging into my stash and pulled out some gold chipboard stars from Studio Calico. The gold stars will help round out my clusters and get another Christmassy shape on the page. I think I have all of these clusters how I want them, so while I'm gluing all of this down, I can tell you what's going on in these photos. We had annual passes to Disney in 2023. We've let them expire. There's just so much to do in Central Florida. So this year we'll skip Disney and do some other things. When you're an annual pass holder, there's not as much pressure to do or see anything specific. If we go to the park and one of the lines to a ride is too long, we'll just go on that ride another day. When we got to the Magic Kingdom this particular day, the park was super crowded, which we were not expecting. It was 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, and traditionally, park attendance is much lower then. We wandered through the stores on Main Street, and people were packed in every store. We tried to get on a few rides, and the lines were obnoxious. So we just ate lunch, and at 2 o'clock, we hightailed it over to Epcot because on our annual pass, we can park hop after 2 p.m. That's what the title means. Our day at the Magic Kingdom went like. And then here's all the photos from Epcot. One of the food festivals was going on, so we spent the rest of the day eating Christmas cookies and churros and having fun cocktails. Not exactly the day we planned on, but we got to ride on several rides at Epcot, so it all worked out. I really like how these gold chipboard stars are helping to fill in the gaps in each of my embellishment clusters. It's so nice to have basic shapes that are a little bit dimensional that we can tuck into clusters like that. After I turn off the camera, I thought that the layout needed a little something, so I'm going to add some ink splatters around two of the embellishment clusters and around the title. You'll be able to see that in the close ups at the end. I also added the journaling to my tags, and I topped the tags with the same ribbon I used on the tree trunk. So I added another spot of that ribbon to one of the embellishment clusters on the right. The last thing I will do here is add pearls. Once I added the shiny gold stars, the matte gold didn't work. The gold glitter dots were the same color as the background, so in the end, the pearls were the best option to get contrast. And that's where I will call this one done. This versatile two-page layout helps celebrate the season as well as showcasing multiple photos. Change out the tree for a big heart at Valentine's, a star or a flag for summer photos, or a big pumpkin for fall photos. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'll leave a link in the description box below to a free sketch of my completed layout. See you next time.